Today I'm here with Nandipha, who has been an intern at SunGoddess Fashion House, and she's going to share with us a little bit about her experience, what it's been like to intern for such an amazing brand. So Nandipha, welcome. Thank you for spending some time with me. And can you tell us what it's like to be a SunGoddess intern?
I think I would start off by saying it is not for the weak.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And that's a good thing because it's very demanding, and I like that personally. I don't like things that are easy or things that you just cruise through. I like things that are challenging, and I think I really did find that at SunGoddess because one thing, the owners are the most driven, ambitious, and hardworking people I have ever come across in my life. It was the first time for me to observe someone who can work from like up early in the mornings, full-time parenting, and then come in at work and go hard the whole day, and even at night she's still busy. The work never stopped. And
Yes.
I didn't, when you just admire someone so much more because you see how much work and effort that they put into what they're selling. And I
Okay.
think that's, I was
Okay.
being a part of that and understanding that my role as an intern was assisting them bring their visions to life.
Okay.
I had to step up.
Was it a little bit different from college?
In a good way.
Okay. Okay.
Say in college I had no life and I was miserable.
Okay.
At SunGoddess I had no life and I was so
So what did you enjoy the most about the work for you? Because obviously you had to move into another lane to do it. That must have been uncomfortable. So what was the part that kept you excited and motivated and going?
I think because I was surrounded by people who really loved what they're doing. That's infectious.
Okay.
It's infectious to be around someone who appreciates the very thing that you love. Every time they see it and they talk about it, they come alive, and you want to be a part of that.
Yes. Yes. So it's definitely the passion.
It's definitely the passion and what they stand for. It's so rare when you come across people that stand for something outside of themselves that affects so many people.
Yes. Yes. So you must have seen a few things here. What was the most fun thing you've experienced here?
The most fun thing I ever did was, I remember last year, because I worked both in the brand and at the SunGoddess Academy, right?
Okay.
I helped there a lot. And I remember in Women's Month, I had this idea. I was like, Mrs. M, can we please do something for the students where we show them like the most powerful women in fashion so that they could like broaden what they thought of when they think of the fashion industry.
Okay.
And so we covered Iman, the supermodel, and we covered Anna Wintour, we covered Rihanna for Fenty, and the last one was a surprise, we covered Mrs. M.
Amazing.
And the best part about covering Mrs. M is that we went back through SunGoddess, and it was so fun for me because she brought these huge boxes, and inside you have all of the archives of SunGoddess, everything that they've done since they started. Like they were featured in, what was it, the Pantone
Yes.
book, the 100 Best Colors of the Century, and they were there.
Yeah.
How amazing is that? Because we all go to Pantone, Adobe Illustrator, Canva, all of us, we work there, right? And it was so fun seeing how much of an impact you can have in the fashion industry where you are celebrated by your peers. That was so fun for me.
Yes. And did you know all that about them when you started
I
interning
didn't.
for them?
And when I first applied, because I came in through the academy, right?
Okay.
When I first applied, I went and I researched them, but I never knew any of these things, because you couldn't find that information.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it was such a treasure for me to be able to hear it straight from the source.
Yes. So tell me more about the academy.
The academy.
Yes.
So the academy was a partnership between SunGoddess and social development to create more fashion entrepreneurs, because they realized that in South Africa, the one trade that creates the most jobs and it's interconnected across industries, it's fashion. You teach somebody to sew and they can do so much for the economy. I mean, a lot of the small businesses that we were even allowed to have as people of color back when, you know, South Africa was that thing we sweep under the rug.
Yes.
Back then, the small businesses that we all did as people of color was clothing.
Yes.
And even till this day, it's what puts food on so many tables.
Yes.
So the SunGoddess Fashion Academy, when I did it, we had 3 classes, which was our fashion design class where we did garment construction,
Yes.
which was the sewing, and then the second class was the one that Mr. and Mrs. M fought really hard for, was the business class.
Okay.
Because they said it's not enough to teach someone how to sew and how to make a good garment. They need to know how to make money off of it. You need to be able to live.
So in what way was it a fight? was it a fight with you and students?
No, students loved it.
Okay.
It was, rather let me not say fight. I think that, you know, people in the government, they want to help. I think they really do want to help, but they often don't know how to. And they didn't see the value behind the business course because there's so many business schools.
Yes.
But those business schools are not teaching you how to do fashion business.
Yes.
And they're not teaching you how to sell your garment, how to stay in the industry. And they felt that it was very important that we understood things like tax, like VAT,
Yes.
like all these small irritating admin things that happen in a business that
Yes.
you're not going to really learn anywhere else,
Yes.
aside from someone who's done it before for years,
Yes.
and they show you how to do it.
Yes.
So the social development covered the sewing, and SunGoddess, they covered the business class.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's amazing because it was a true collaboration.
And that's so beautiful. So SunGoddess are not only fashion designers, they're also business
They're
incubators.
business people.
Yes.
And they've taught us so much, like even doing your product life cycle.
Yes.
Like, because you know, it's fun, the creating the fashion shows, pictures and all that stuff. But you gotta eat. I mean, it's great, but you know, starving artists, can we not call ourselves that anymore?
Let's get that behind us now.
We need to be artists, but we also need to live off of what we're creating because we give so much to the world. But too many artists end up like not even being able to stay in the industries, let alone survive in the world, because all they know how to do is to make art, but they have no idea how to profit off of it. And it leaves us vulnerable because we get taken advantage of a lot.
Totally. So what's your plan? To not be a starving artist? Is that too much pressure for an interview?
My plan right now is I'm going to continue as I am, which is learning.
Okay.
I know that I've had a really big privilege to be fully supported, not just by my parents, but by my peers in the industry, my mentors, people like Mr. and Mrs. M. Whereas I can take my time finding what that is, like what my purpose is going to be in this industry. I've worked on production sets, I've worked in costume design, I've interned for fashion brands, I've worked at SunGoddess. And I've only been able to do that because I've been supported. And I know that not everybody gets that.
That's amazing that you've got that self-awareness. I've met other students who've come from outside of your frame, who don't have that same gratitude. So it's very interesting to see that you're aware.
I think we can't help but be aware because I don't know if you've been active on social media in these spaces, but the conversation of Nepo babies has been like quite a big one, where you hear that in every industry that someone gets the position that they have, not because they're talented or because they deserve it necessarily, but because their parents are there.
Yes.
They've been in that industry, they have the network, and it doesn't matter if their kid is qualified or not, because they're friends with the owner, they get the job.
Yes.
And that's the largest scale of it, but I've also benefited from nepotism. I mean, I got SunGoddess is the only job I got by myself, let me put it that way. But the first job I did, because my mom is in media,
Yes.
I worked with her when they were doing the costume design for the TV show she made.
Yes.
And then the second job I did when I interned at Fashion Week for Lila Swimwear, because my dad and the owner were friends. That's
Okay.
why I got it, you know?
Okay.
So that's what I mean when I say that it isn't all me. I don't get to have this or work in the industry and do what I love
Yes.
and not be a starving artist because I'm special. No, it's
Yes.
because I've had support.
Yes.
And that's not something everybody has access to.
Yes. And I think that's key to what SunGoddess is doing here, is they're putting some support around
so much.
a lot of people, and not just you.
Not just me.
Because there's a lot of the foundational work they've done in the industry that has paved the way for young designers today.
It really has. It really has.
So you mentioned that it was you decided you wanted to intern for them.
Yeah.
So they didn't invite you.
No. They didn't know me.
Tell me how that happened.
So I got into the SunGoddess Academy, and I'm sitting there at orientation, like everybody's coming in. There's excitement. We don't know what to expect. It's the first time that they're doing it with social development, so it was a very new thing, you know. And I sat at the front because I want to sit at the front like that. And there Mr. and Mrs. M walked in, and I'd never seen anybody dressed like that. I was like, wow, they're so bright. And Mrs. M, I remember she was wearing this yellow hat. She sold it. Well, someone saw her wearing it, and then she sold it to them. She does that a lot. And I remember this day, because the sun was shining, and the hat had little eyelets, and it was this golden yellow, and they reflected on the floor around, and I was like, wow, this person is amazing.
Oh, beautiful.
It was so beautiful. So after they did the orientation stuff, introductions, yada yada yada, I was like, okay, I just did this at school, and I'm happy, I'm grateful to be here, but I think there's more that I can get from this. So after orientation, that first day where I met her, I went up to her and I said, hi, Mrs. M, I'm Nandipha, and I want to learn from you. It was, I don't know where I got the confidence because, wow. And then she was like, I don't think she took me seriously, because I'm pretty sure she hears that all the time, being in the industry as long as she has been. And she's like, okay, to assistant at the time, she's like, so-and-so, take her details. And I was like, I'm always available, seriously, call me whenever. Weekday, weekend, I'll be there. And that's what I kept doing. So every time she'd be in the academy, I'd walk up to her and I'd remind her, I was like, do you need any help? I was like, do you need anything? I was like, you don't need to pay me, I just want to be there. Yes. And eventually, I think a few weeks into the academy, her assistant came to me and she's like, so can you come this Wednesday? Because we only had classes Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. Wednesday, she's like, come in, it's a free day. And I came in on Wednesday, and she was like, you guys are going to be designing, sketching the whole day. Okay. And then eventually I started spending every Wednesday and Saturday at SunGoddess, my whole time at the academy.
That's amazing. That's so amazing. What a wonderful story. So it was your perseverance, your guts, and that just being yourself thing that Mr. M was chatting about earlier. Yeah. I think that got you in. Well done.
Thank you.
So the other thing we're here to chat about today is upcycled textiles and thrifting in Gauteng. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about why you like to think about thrifted textiles, upcycled textiles. What's your relationship with them?
I think my relationship with upcycled clothing starts when I was a kid. Quite frankly, I didn't even know I wanted to be in fashion up until my late teens. And I don't know how that flew over my head, because I was always obsessed with clothing. So I would take my old clothes, my parents' old clothes, my mom's bed sheets, curtains, socks, school uniform, whatever you name it, and I would upcycle those into clothing for my toys. Okay. That's why I think had many fights with mom and the maid. It wasn't pretty. And so I think I really did develop a love for clothing that's kind of been abandoned. It's not really being used by anyone from that point. And then it graduated from being for the dolls and the toys and for myself, where I'd go through my parents' clothes, my grandparents' clothes, and I'll take the pieces that I like and I'll fashion them to my style, my taste. Yes. And I think that's when my love for thrifting and my relationship with it starts.
So do you have garments that belong to your grandparents that you wear?
I do.
Oh, that's It's beautiful. How old are they?
I don't know, like so old. I think.
And what items are they?
Okay, so a lot of the time, my favorite one is the cape.
Okay.
My grandma's got this woolen cape. I've never seen it sold anywhere or made anywhere. I only ever saw it in like period movies and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I found that cape, I think it was in 2021,
Okay.
and I fell in love. I wear it all the time when it's raining. I remember the one time it was raining and Mrs. M forgot she didn't dress for the weather, so I was like, Mrs. M, the cape is here. Because it's such a great piece. I love the cape and her silk blouses. I wear them all the time. Like, this is me dressed casually, actually. Most of the time I'm wearing like blouses with lots and lots of layers, belts, coats, waistcoats, everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I love pieces like that.
I love that you've got garments from your grandparents that you still wear. That's so beautiful. Not many people have got garments from two generations back that they keep and preserve.
My grandma had taste.
And they made things so well back then.
They did, hey? The details.
Yes.
I think my favorite one is this black blouse. It's got this like sailor tie.
Okay.
And it's all black and these puffy sleeves of the, you know, like the pirate shirts.
Oh, lovely.
The gathers on the wrists and the
lovely.
buttons. I wear it all the time.
Oh, it sounds fabulous. It sounds fabulous. And do you buy thrifted clothing?
I do buy thrifted clothing. There are a few places that I go to.
Which are your favorites?
I think my favorite is going to thrift markets.
Okay.
And then the ones that I do like to do is going around town, actually.
Okay.
I think the best find you find in thrifting is actually going straight to the city, to the streets.
Okay.
So what they have is a lot of things that are decades old, but also like the reject garments that are after shoots, after productions, where they end up, if you're doing production in your business and some pieces are left over and you can't sell them anymore, they actually end up on the streets. Everything from shoes, hats, clothes, accessories ends up there. So I actually like going around Joburg and seeing what I can find.
And do you do you have an eye for authentic, beautiful old things versus cheap Chinese knockoffs?
Yes, there's definitely, you can tell the difference.
How do you tell the difference?
The construction and the fabric will always give it away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if somebody watching doesn't know how to tell the difference, like and there's somebody who doesn't know textiles the way we do, what about the fabric? Can you describe that people can look for?
So the fabric will often feel plasticky.
Yes.
Like you can tell, like, you know, and another thing you can do is like a burn test. Don't let them see you do this, but you can like pull a tiny piece of thread from the garment and take your lighter. And if it melts, you know that you're buying plastic and not clothes. Yeah.
Plastic and not clothes.
Yeah.
That's how you feel about polyester.
Yes. It's not just polyesters. They use a cheap elastane. So, like, if it's a blend between, like, a natural fabric or an animal fiber, you can smell it. So, like, animal fibers smell like burnt hair. And, like, plant-based fabric, right? They smell like burnt paper. So, when they are mixed with synthetic fabrics like elastane and what's this, polyester, it's a combination smell of a slight plasticky, you know, burnt plastic smells awful. So it's a slight hint of that, but mostly you'll smell the burnt hair or the burnt paper smell.
Yes. That's so great. Thank you for those amazing tips.
You're welcome.
And do you ever take upcycled garments, thrifted garments, and then change them?
I do, but not as much as my friends do. I've seen my friends do some amazing things with upcycling.
What's the most amazing thing you've seen your friends do?
Okay, my one friend, she couldn't be here today, but I wanted to meet her. She made patchwork jeans. So she took pieces of fabric and she cut little patches out of all of them until she actually formed a pair of jeans.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing. And she made a bomber jacket in the same way. So she has a brand. You can check it out online, Remendo May on Instagram. And what she does is that she goes to manufacturers, businesses, and she collects all of their fabric scraps.
Okay.
And she uses them to make new textiles. And from that, she sews the pieces.
Oh, that's awesome. So she's using factory waste.
Yeah, factory waste.
Oh, brilliant.
It's
That's
giving
brilliant.
sustainability a new name.
I definitely want to check
You really should.
Yeah, I
She's-
really should.
I think Mrs. M bought a bag of hers. I don't know if we have it here, but we can take some pictures of it if you like.
So Nandipha, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I appreciate your time so very much. Your effervescence and your enthusiasm for fashion is contagious. It was really great talking.